Sashtup. Sashtup. Animals, four-legged animals. Get all together now. Atush, Muach, Klunim, Chims, Aatukuk, Chostimts, Koyetzik, qaanaaka. It's a big white wolf, but the Berkeley people say qaanaaka for head wolf. I'm going to tell you the importance of the wolf right now. The reason why he was so important today, our people studied the wolves. They live so communal. And they're the law of the woods. They're land protectors. If there's a bear or a cougar talking to the wolves to come to your aid and chase a bear or a wolf away. And they've always been that way, unless you mistreat them and you shoot them or harm them in any way, then they'll turn against you. The old people used to say, like when a pack of wolves go hunting, they leave two wolves that were maybe about 2 or 3 years old, and babysit the pups. And when they came back with their prey and their hunt, the two babysitters would get the choice of the meat, or that was the payment of babysitting the pups. So ook just teach ook how they kept alive, because they're very communal, the wolves, very smart. If a young chief is going to propose, he'd bring his head wolf and his wolves with him. He'd have two of them dance, and then they'd show them their huupa, all their possessions, all their masks, and their two parties, everything that to show their riches when they're proposing for a bride. Sometimes it took 4 days. It took one chief a year before the family gave up their daughter, because they wanted to make sure that that husband was not going to mistreat that young woman. That's why they took as precautionary. That's why the marriages really worked out. If they're abusive, then they wouldn't give it to them. They wouldn't give their daughter up. And that first deer, you quartered it and gave it to 4 old people that couldn't go hunting anymore. You have a quarter, front quarter each, or back hind quarter each, and 4 of them, they'd all tell you they're going to pray for you that you may become a successful hunter. And that is part of the rituals. That is our rituals of becoming a young man. And, there's a lot to it. I could talk about this on and on, but you know, it's interesting when you hear something like this. And then after that, I used to go hunting with my stepfather, or go hunting with my Uncle Jeff. After they went alone, then I could do things on my own. We're already taught all that stuff. Every time you caught a deer, you'd done the same thing, went through the same formality when you buried the intestines and everything. Thank the Creator for it. That's kind of a prayer too, you know. I want to thank you for looking after me and giving me this meat to put on the table to feed the family. These are the things that are forgotten now. Everybody should go hunting and just shoot and boom. Nothing to it. No rituals, no nothing. So you know, this is valuable information. You'll never find this in books until somebody reveals it or starts writing about it, and that's the way of our people. They taught their young. The young would continue their supporting the family, I was the oldest in the family, so I had to learn. And after that, they're dependent on me for hunting. Or Haahuupa, yeah. Yeah, is something really big in it, and it's important. Family values, yeah. They used to say, Nuu-chah-nulth, they'd say, there's a reason for me saying this to you. Yeah, it's really important things I'm talking to you about, they'd say, you know. So there was always a way of saying things before they started talking to get your attention and where you pay attention, listen to them. Iqwa means repetitive. And that's the way we were taught. Iqwa. They always repeated everything until you knew it well. They give you apsqui, jerky. You eat on that. Sometimes when I was a little boy, my grandfather would hold me. My grandmother would be telling a story. And then she'd get tired, and my grandfather would take over telling himwića, telling me stories. I'd go to sleep and holding that apsqui like that. I wake up in the morning holding a same apsqui. And it's something, that it's family values again, the things I was talking, I'm sharing with you right now and whatnot. One time it used to be just only family that they told, but now we have to share it. Because a lot of people doing their own language and whatnot, and it's good. I'm always glad when you guys come here because you want to pick up something that's being lost. And it's not going to be entirely lost because you got a lot of people down there where you're from that know the language and know the values, our family values and whatnot. And important. In the old days, when I was a little boy, I had to sit beside my grandmother. My grandmother would bring me a little lunch and then made me some toys to play with. And I had to sit there. And when he'd go to the bathroom, I had to wait for my grandfather, and he'd take me out to the bathroom, or he'd get one of my uncles to take me out. We weren't allowed to play. I had to sit there and listen to everything that was going on the floor. But now kids run around, and everybody's talking, you can't hear nobody. You can't even hear what the potlatch is about. They talk English at one time, it's all huupa. It is more meaningful when they talk their language. And each tribe, when they danced, you only sang 4 songs and you were off the floor. That's showing respect for the other visitors. The only one that done 8, maybe 6 to 8 songs is the host. That way, otherwise you get really tired watching the same people dance all night. So that was the rules of the party. It wasn't called potlatch, it was where they had different names, Tlaktusa or Nuu-chah, where the chief got their seat, or himwića, they receive a himwića, a hukuma. And then there was Edstusa, and they never ever just went there and said, okay, my daughter's a woman. No, he didn't do that. There had to be dances to fill that space up so that young lady, it'll help her through her life. But nowadays they have people going to these, becoming of age, carrying sorrow with them. We don't want to dance. We don't want you guys to dance. That was not the case. They were told, they were invited there, they could sit there, but they couldn't say nothing. Even if you're related, you had to dance because you're playing with the young lady's life. Otherwise she'll just be mixed up and whatnot. So these are the things, and men had it different. And the young ladies ate stutla, but boys, they brought them to the bush and left them for 4 days. Survival. And they went up there alone. was nothing. You just slept up there and you drank water, and that was it. Same with when you bring a himwića up. The ancestor's going to bless it for you. And you stay up there, sing all night, have a fire.